and he raised his hand, a dark energy crackling at his fingertips. "You will regret standing in my way," he growled. Before Ada could react, a bolt of dark energy shot towards her, and she braced herself, expecting pain. But instead, she felt a warmth envelop her, like a shield wrapping around her body. She opened her eyes to see Ezenwanyi standing beside her, her hand raised, casting a shimmering barrier between Ada and Obinna. "You will not harm her, Obinna," Ezenwanyi said, her voice ringing with authority. "This child has more courage than you will ever know. She understands that true power lies in protecting, not destroying." Obinna's face contorted with rage, and he lunged forward, his hands reaching for the heartstone. But just as his fingers brushed against its surface, a brilliant light erupted from the stone, filling the room with blinding radiance. Ada shielded her eyes, feeling the warmth of the light flow through her. And then she looked again. She saw Obinna stumbling back, clutching his hand in pain. The light from the hearthstone faded, leaving him standing there, panting and furious. Ezenwanyi's voice was calm but filled with a quiet power. "Leave now, Obinna. The hearthstone has spoken. You have no place here." Obinna glared at her, his eyes burning with hatred. "This isn't over, Ezenwanyi," he spat, his voice dripping with venom. "You may have won today, but one day that stone will be mine. I swear it." With that, he turned and stormed out of the hut, his footsteps echoing in the silence. Ada watched him go, her heart racing, a mixture of relief and lingering fear settling within her. Once he was gone, Ezenwanyi placed a gentle hand on Ada's shoulder. "You were brave, child, braver than anyone I've known. Thank you for standing with me." Ada looked up at Ezenwanyi, a mixture of pride and worry in her eyes. "Do you think he will come back?" Ezenwanyi sighed, her gaze distant. Obinna's heart is filled with darkness, and that kind of hunger doesn't go away easily. He will return, one way or another, but for now we have peace. She looked at Ada, a soft smile on her face. "And you have proven yourself as a guardian of the hearthstone. With time, I will teach you everything I know." Ada nodded, determination shining in her eyes. She knew the journey ahead would not be easy, and the shadow of Obinna's threat would linger over them. But she was ready to face it, to protect the village and the hearthstone with all her strength. Together, they stepped outside, where the first light of dawn was breaking over the village. As the sun rose, casting warm rays over Umuoma, Ada felt a deep sense of purpose filling her heart. She had a mission now, a calling to protect the hearthstone and her village from whatever darkness might come. And with Ezenwanyi by her side, she knew she was not alone in the journey ahead. The days following Obinna's departure felt both peaceful and charged with a strange tension. Ada returned to her usual routine, but very so often, she felt a shadow lingering at the edge of her thoughts, a reminder of the danger that had come so close. She spent more time with Ezenwanyi, learning about the hearthstone, the village secrets, and the ancient ways of protection. The lessons were unlike anything she would ever imagined. A mix of chants, symbols, and understanding the hidden messages in nature. One evening, as the sun set in shades of orange and violet, Ezenwanyi led Ada into the forest. The air was thick with the scent of earth and leaves, and the world felt hushed, as if the forest itself were listening. "Ada," Ezenwanyi said, breaking the silence, "you are about to take your first step as a guardian of the hearthstone. Tonight, you will meet the spirit of the land." Ada's heart skipped a beat. She had heard stories of the spirit of Umuoma, a mysterious force that was said to protect the village, guiding it through seasons and storms. But she had never imagined she would come face to face with it. Ezenwanyi knelt by a small clearing and motioned for Ada to sit beside her. She pulled out a small bowl filled with water, herbs, and a stone from the hearthstone's chamber, and placed it in the center of the clearing. She began to chant in a language Ada didn't fully understand. Her voice soft yet powerful, carrying through the stillness of the forest. The air grew heavy, and Ada felt a tingling sensation along her skin, as if the very ground beneath her were alive. Slowly, a shimmering light appeared in front of them, swirling like mist, and then took form. Ada held her breath as the figure of a woman materialized, tall, graceful, with eyes that shone like the stars. She wore a dress woven from leaves, flowers, and strands of silver light, and her skin seemed to glow with an inner warmth. "Welcome, Ada," the spirit said, her voice a blend of wind and water, soft yet resonant. "I am Amadi, the spirit of this land." Ada bowed her head, feeling a rush of awe and reverence. "It's an honor to meet you, Amadi," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Amadi's gaze softened as she looked at Ada. "Ezenwanyi has told me much about you. You are young, yet your heart is open, and you hold a courage that is rare." She glanced towards Ezenwanyi, giving her a nod. "You have chosen well, Ezenwanyi." Ezenwanyi smiled, pride shining in her eyes. "Thank you, Amadi. Ada is strong, but she will need your guidance in the days to come." Amadi's expression grew serious, her gaze turning towards the hearthstone, which Ezenwanyi had brought with them for the ceremony. The hearthstone is a powerful gift, but it is also a burden. The darkness that lurks in Obinna's heart is still a threat, and he is not the only one drawn to its power. There are forces beyond this village, forces that would speak to claim it for themselves. Ada felt a chill at Amadi's words. "But what can I do? I am just learning." Amadi smiled gently. "All guardians must learn, Ada. But know this, the hearthstone's greatest power lies in the love and loyalty of those who protect it. You are not alone, even when you feel you are. As long as you honor the hearthstone, it will respond to you, it will strengthen you." She stepped forward and reached out her hand, touching Ada's forehead. In that instant, Ada felt a warmth spread through her, a connection that went deep into the earth, as though roots were forming beneath her feet. She felt the trees, the rivers, the soil itself, all connected, all alive, all watching over her. Amadi withdrew her hand, her gaze kind and knowing. "Remember, Ada, that the land and the spirit are always with you. Whenever you feel doubt, close your eyes, breathe, and listen. The answers will come." Ada nodded, her heart swelling with gratitude and determination. "Thank you, Amadi. I will protect the hearthstone. I won't let anyone take it." Amadi smiled, her form beginning to fade into mist. "I believe you, young guardian. And remember, as long as you protect Umuoma, Umuoma will protect you." With those words, Amadi vanished, leaving only a soft glow that slowly faded into the night. Ezenwanyi placed a gentle hand on Ada's shoulder. "You have done well, Ada. Meeting the spirit of the land is no small thing. Now your journey truly begins." As they walked back to the village under the light of the stars, Ada felt a new sense of purpose settle within her. She was no longer just a curious child. She was now a guardian, bound to the hearthstone and the spirit of the land. In the days that followed, Ada's life took on a new rhythm. She trained with Ezenwanyi, learning how to recognize threats, how to listen to the whispers of the forest, and how to use symbols and chants for protection. She practiced until she knew every movement by heart, every word and gesture. But beneath the calm, a tension lingered. Shadows seemed to creep along the village's edge, and Ada could feel Obinna's presence, though he remained unseen. He was waiting, biding his time, and she knew he would not give up easily. One evening, just as she was preparing to sleep, Ada felt a prickle of unease. She opened her window and looked out into the night. The village was quiet, the homes dark and peaceful. But beyond the trees in the distance, she saw a faint pulsing glow, a light too unnatural to be from a fire or lantern. Her heart raced. Could it be Obinna? Without a second thought, Ada grabbed her shawl and slipped out of her home, heading towards the glow. She moved quietly, her senses alert, each step bringing her closer to the strange lights. As she drew near, she realized it was coming from the edge of the forest, near the path that led to Ezenwanyi's hut. Ada's breath caught as she saw a shadowy figure standing there, hands outstretched towards the forest. She recognized him instantly. Obinna. He was murmuring something, his voice low and filled with a dark intensity. Ada strained to hear, catching fragments of his chants, words that spoke of binding, of control, of calling forth powers that did not belong to him. "Stop!" Ada called, her voice ringing through the night. Obinna turned slowly, a sinister smile spreading across his face. "Ah, the little guardian," he sneered. "Out so late?" Ada took a deep breath, forcing herself to stand tall. "This village is under the Heartstone's protection. Leave, Obinna, or face its power." Obinna laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "You think you can stop me, child? The Heartstone is only as powerful as those who wield it. And you," he took a step closer, his eyes narrowing, "you are just a frightened little girl." Ada's hands trembled, but she remembered Amadi's words. "Close your eyes, breathe, and listen." She took a slow, steady breath, grounding herself. She could feel the land beneath her feet, the presence of the spirit around her. She closed her eyes, allowing that connection to fill her, and a surge of warmth spread through her, steadying her heart. When she opened her eyes, she saw Obinna's smirk falter, a flicker of uncertainty crossing his face. "You don't belong here, Obinna," Ada said, her voice calm and unwavering. "This village is under my protection now, and as long as I live, you will never have the Heartstone." Obinna's eyes blazed with anger, and he raised his hand, dark energy crackling at his fingertips. But before he could release it, a gust of wind swept through the forest, extinguishing the glow of his power. He stumbled back, shock flashing across his face. Ada felt a smile tug at her lips as she realized what was happening. The village was protecting her, just as Amadi had promised. Obinna glared at her, his face twisted in fury. "This isn't over, Ada," he spat. "I will return, and when I do, you will regret standing against me." With one last look of hatred, he vanished into the shadows, leaving Ada standing alone in the quiet of the forest. She took a deep breath, her heart still racing, but a sense of triumph filling her. She knew now more than ever that she was not alone, and with the strength of the Heartstone and the spirit of Umoma, she was ready to face whatever darkness lay ahead. As the days turned into weeks, the village of Umoma began to feel safer, the weight of Obinna's shadow lifting slowly from the hearts of its people. Ada continued her training under Ezenwanyi's watchful eye, learning not only how to protect the Heartstone, but also how to care for her people, how to listen, and how to use her strength with humility. Ezenwanyi often reminded her that true power was not in the might of her actions, but in the spirit which she served. One night, as Ada was practicing her chant in Ezenwanyi's hut, they heard the distant toll of the village bell, a signal of danger. Ada and Ezenwanyi exchanged glances, immediately understanding Obinna had returned. They hurried to the village square where they saw villagers gathered, murmuring in fear as Obinna stood in their midst. His eyes gleamed with a strange fierce light, and he held in his hands an amulet, pulsing with dark energy. He had found an artifact from a distant land, an object twisted with dark magic that could break through the village's protection. "I've come to claim what is mine," Obinna said, his voice cold as steel. "Step aside or I will take it by force." The villagers backed away, their faces pale, but Ada stepped forward, placing herself between Obinna and the hearthstone that lay in the village altar. "Enough, Obinna," she said, her voice steady. "The hearthstone was never yours and it will never be." Obinna sneered, the dark energy in his amulet crackling to life. "You are a mere child. Do you truly believe you can stand against me?" Ada closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, remembering all that she had learned. She reached out with her spirit, feeling the warmth of the hearthstone, the strength of the land and the presence of Amadi and the ancestors surrounding her. She chanted softly, calling on the spirit of protection, allowing herself to become a vessel for the village's power. As she opened her eyes, she felt a radiant energy envelop her. Obinna paused, his confidence wavering as he saw the glow that now surrounded her. "You may have found dark magic," Ada said, her voice ringing with a power beyond her years. "But there is no darkness strong enough to defeat a heart filled with light." Obinna growled and raised his amulet, unleashing a surge of dark energy towards Ada. But as the energy approached, the light around Ada intensified, forming a barrier that absorbed the darkness, turning it into a harmless mist. The villagers gasped in awe, some whispering prayers of thanks and others shedding tears of relief. Obinna staggered, his strength faltering as he realized his powers were no match for the unity of the village and the strength of the hearthstone. With one last, desperate look, he attempted to flee, but Ezenwanyi stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "This is your end, Obinna. You've harmed too many, taken too much. You must now face the consequences of your choices." Obinna fell to his knees, defeated, the amulet crumbling to dust in his hands. The villagers looked at him, not with anger, but with a solemn sadness. He had been a member of their community, a boy they had known and loved, yet he had chosen a path of greed and selfishness that had led to his own downfall. Ezenwanyi spoke softly, her voice carrying a gentle finality. "You chose darkness over light, Obinna, but know that even now we wish peace for your spirits." Obinna looked down, and without another word he disappeared into the night, his presence fading from Umuoma forever. The villagers gathered around Ada, their eyes shining with gratitude and respect. In that moment, she realized that her journey as a guardian was not just about protecting the hearthstone, but about protecting the spirit of the village, the love and trust that bound them all together. As the night gave way to dawn, Ezenwanyi placed a hand on Ada's shoulder. "You have done well, Ada. You have not only saved the hearthstone, but you have saved Umuoma's spirit." Ada nodded, a sense of peace settling within her. She knew that her path as a guardian would not always be easy, but she was ready to face whatever came next, knowing that she was never truly alone. Moral lessons. 1. True power lies in love and community. Ada's strength didn't come from magic alone, but from the love and unity of her village. When people come together with a shared purpose, they create a force stronger than any individual power. 2. Greed leads to isolation and destruction. Obinna's desire for power and control blinded him to the harm he was causing. His greed led him down a path of isolation and ultimately to his own defeat. 3. Courage is born of purpose, not anger. Ada's courage came from her commitment to protect her people, not from hatred or anger towards Obinna. Her resolve was grounded in love, showing that true bravery is driven by compassion. 4. Forgiveness and understanding build a stronger community. Despite Obinna's actions, the villagers did not seek revenge, but rather hoped for his redemption. This spirit of forgiveness kept the village united, reminding us that holding on to bitterness only weakens a community. 5. We are stronger when connected to our roots and traditions. Ezenwanyi's teachings and Ada's connection to the hearthstone reflect the importance of respecting and honoring cultural traditions. These roots give strength and guidance, helping us face challenges with wisdom and resilience. With these lessons, Ada's journey as a guardian of Umuoma had only begun, but she knew that she would face the future with the strength of her ancestors and the unwavering support of her village by her side. We have come to the end of the story. If you love this video, please kindly share with your loved ones, leave us a comment on your opinion, and subscribe for another interesting video like this. Until I see you all on the next one. Bye for now.